Hello Manchester United fans. Manchester United could find their next Marcus Rashford this month. If ever Man United needed a striker solution from within, it is this February, 9 years on from a teenage Marcus Rashford coming to their rescue. Caroline McAteer is the experienced PR specialist who manages a handful of Manchester United players, and she could manage her own United five-a-side team. Cristiano Ronaldo, Jadon Sancho, Raphael Varane, Marcus Rashford and Mason Mount's public relations are all handled by Ms. McAteer. So gone from matchday squads. Ronaldo admitted he had no respect for United manager Erik ten Hag. Sancho publicly accused ten Hag of saying something completely untrue. Varane was released after United ignored the one-year option in his contract. Rashford was very publicly dropped by successive permanent managers. Mount sent his best to Lisandro Martinez on Instagram this week. "All here for you, brother," his post read. "Call it gallows humor, but maybe that is because Mount is often in the physio's room." Mount has played in 33 games out of a possible 89 for United. Since the winter transfer window closed, United have whittled their squad down to 25 players, the minimum and advisable amount. Yet it has shrunk further. Two of those players are Mount and Luke Shaw, physio room bedfellows. One is third-choice goalkeeper Tom Heaton, who has not played in 2 years. Martinez is out until next season. Then there are players at the back of the queue. Casemiro has played 20 minutes this calendar year, and his cameo in Bucharest last week was his first appearance in a month. United have specialist and auxiliary centre-halves to cover for Martinez, and Casemiro is 8th in line. Ruben Amorim does not fancy either of the two strikers United forked out £108.5 million for, and they make up half of his attacking department. The irony of Rashford's daily drive through the M6 toll is there is a high probability a new Rashford will emerge. The stars aligned for Rashford in February 2016. Wayne Rooney was out injured. James Wilson, an academy-bred striker who scored twice on his senior debut, was out on loan at Brighton, and the more limited Ashley Fletcher was on loan at Barnsley. 3 days before United hosted Midtjylland in the Europa League, they dismissed Shrewsbury Town in the FA Cup 5th round. Will Keane came on, hit the post, and in doing so tore his groin. Then, on the night of the Midtjylland match, Anthony Martial pulled up in the warm-up. 5 strikers cleared the way for Rashford's chance, and he took it with 4 goals in 2 games within 72 hours. The current United attack is more depleted than it was back then. Next week's FA Youth Cup 5th round tie against Chelsea will be staged at Leigh Sports Village, rather than at Old Trafford. Every Youth Cup home draw during United's triumphant run in 2022 was held at their stadium. Paul Pogba transfer latest Man United invitation message as Mason Greenwood reunion blocked. Paul Pogba is still a free agent 2 months after mutually terminating his Juventus contract, despite suggestions the midfielder should return to Manchester United. Ruben Amorim started work as Manchester United's new head coach 4 days before Juventus and Paul Pogba announced they had mutually agreed to terminate the player's contract. That is how long the United Academy graduate has been a free agent. The winter transfer window has come and gone without a move, although free transfers can occur when other deals for contracted players cannot. Pogba also appears in no rush, presumably because the midfielder is not allowed to play again until next month, when his ban for doping ends 18 months after it began. However, he has been able to train since the start of this year. Mensport looks at the latest reports regarding Pogba and what the future may hold. Pogba's former United teammate Rio Ferdinand would offer him the chance to train with the club if he were in charge. He made those comments on the latest episode of Rio Presents. Ferdinand said, "You'd like to think he would be going somewhere. Surely, he's got to go somewhere." Pogba at United? I'd go. Come in and train with us and let's see what you've got. I'd do that. I would have done that already. I'd say, come in and get fit, and let's have a little look. Marseille move now a no-go. Pogba has never played professionally for a French club, leaving Le Havre for United aged 16. Marseille, though, much like the Reds, are name-checked in many reports regarding the future of the former France international, which would represent a reunion with former United teammate Mason Greenwood. However, now that the winter transfer window is closed, Pogba will not play for them this season. According to Get French Football News, clubs in Ligue 1 cannot register free agents, so he would now be unable to play for any French top-flight team until next season, even if he signed during this campaign. Man TD want to sign one of the best strikers in the Premier League. Manchester United are among a host of Premier League clubs keeping a close eye on Crystal Palace striker Jean-Philippe Mateta, according to journalist Graham Bailey. The Red Devils, alongside Chelsea and Newcastle United, are reportedly monitoring the French striker amid his uncertain contract situation at Selhurst Park. Palace have yet to convince Mateta to sign a new deal, having triggered a one-year extension to his current contract, which is now set to expire in June 2027. The Frenchman was heavily linked with a departure last summer and was reportedly open to leaving the Eagles after 2.5 years at the club, although Palace were not receptive to offers. According to Bailey, there are doubts over Mateta's long-term future at Selhurst Park, with multiple Premier League and European clubs now tracking the 27-year-old, alongside the aforementioned Man United, Chelsea, and Newcastle. The likes of Atletico Madrid and Bayer Leverkusen have also been linked as potential suitors. Mateta has been a key player for Palace this season, scoring 10 goals and providing 1 assist in 24 top-flight appearances. The 27-year-old, labeled one of the best strikers in the Premier League by Adam Sells, netted a brace in Palace's shock 2-0 away win at Man United last weekend, his second in the last 3 games. United were heavily linked with signing a new forward in the January transfer window but missed out on deals for both Mathys Tel and Randal Kolo Muani. The Red Devils pushed for Tel's arrival late in the winter market but saw 2 loan bids rejected by Bayern Munich, who eventually sent the 19-year-old on loan to Tottenham. United are 13th in the Premier League after 24 games and will next face Leicester City in the FA Cup 4th round on Friday. Man TD Stars magic inspires hope for Marcus Rashford ahead of Aston Villa debut. While preparing to make his much-anticipated debut at Villa Park, Marcus Rashford should be encouraged by the early exploits of his fellow Manchester United Antony. The two players had an equally miserable first half of the season. The Brazilian lost his main ally in Carrington when Erik ten Hag was sacked in October, so his situation at the club went from bad to worse. The 86 million flop was always going to struggle to settle in Ruben Amorim's 3-4-2-1 system, especially with Amad Diallo proving to be the ideal profile to fill in the right side of the attacking trident. But while Antony wasn't playing as a starter, at least he was part of the team. The same cannot be said about Rashford, who spent his last 7 weeks at his boyhood club as an exile. In the end, both players had little choice but to seal January exits. The Brazil international signed for Real Betis on a dry loan, while the Englishman signed for Aston Villa on loan with an option. Marcus Rashford will be looking to replicate thrilling Antony debut. On Sunday, football fans worldwide will be keen to witness Rashford's debut with the Villains, wondering if the striker, who's been labelled as a complacent, lazy player, will be able to prove Amorim wrong. But in the meantime, the 27-year-old can draw some inspiration from Antony, who looked revitalized on his Real Betis debut. The former Ajax man pulled off some of the flicks and tricks the fans grew accustomed to during his time in Amsterdam. Antony thus earned the praise of his new teammate Romain Perraud, who was taken away by his magical skills. Hence, if the Brazilian winger can instantly put on a show after 2.5 disappointing years at Old Trafford, there's certainly hope for Rashford, who remains one of the best English players in his generation despite his recent skid.